fantastic. My mic was off. In the 12 o'clock position on Neosylphid, we have attentat, nom.attentat, as the white Zerg brood, and in the bottom left we have Too Sexy For You as the mustard Protoss, because of course the game where I verbally confirm to make sure that I'm switching my stream over and remember to do it, I forgot to turn my mic back on after coming back from break. I had a whole intro thing and everything, but that's okay. These are tier 1 games, so we're gonna be seeing some stuff, okay? Tier 1 has a lot of good players in it. Tentat's a good player, and Too Sexy For You, I'm assuming, is a good player. I don't think I've casted any of their games before, though. Or if I did, I forgot about it. So. Right, probe moving out. Gateway first. So I think this is a lot more common at the higher levels. You see gateway first. Because it's a lot more versatile of a build than Forge first. So you tend to see it more once you get out of like tiers 3 and 2. We are going to have a first scout from both players, and it is going to be an 11 hatch from attentat. Champion saying no sound, or is it just me? It is just you, champion. Yeah, champion. Thank you for unmuting the stream. Welcome back. Yeah. So when it's gateway first, you generally don't want to see, well, I guess it's okay to see the hatch first, since it means that you don't have to worry about too much Zergling pressure. And I think Too Sexy For You is just going to be able to get up into their regular, get their Nexus up. They're taking a really early Nexus based off of the scouting first, hatch first. Champion saying I'm dropping everything and practicing 1v1 ZVZ Bloodbath now. Listen, by all means. I don't have to practice. I control that matchup in my blood. But we have a Zealot in the main base here. We might get a couple of drone picks, but that is 6 Zerglings. So that Zealot's going to wedge himself in the minerals and get, you know, a number of Zerglings. 3 Zerglings doesn't exactly buy a Zealot and a Probe. And if a Tentat kind of reverses this and does a reverse Link Flood, Too Sexy For You does not really have a lot at home to defend. They lost their initial Zealot, and they don't have cannons building. The Forge was a bit late because they did take that much faster Nexus. So cannon goes down immediately, but here come the Zerglings, and there is a breach. No, there is not a breach in the wall. But these Zerglings are going to be able to start taking pawn shots at the gateway, and it is going to get busted down. Zerglings get a surround on the Zealot. That is huge. The gateway is going to fall, and the Zerglings are going to break the probe line in there, get on top of the cannons. I mean, that's just GG. You can't fight out of this. What a great move from a Tentat. The gateway falls as well, so we have 1 Zealot and a Dream, and the Dream is dead. Yeah. I mean, that was just a really great kill shot there from a Tentat. They have that those Zerg instincts. You know, Protoss has to be so careful, because when they aren't, the Zerg instincts, like, they get you. They get you every time. Alright, let's hop into game 2 on Good Night 1.31. Starting it up. On the top right corner of Goodnight, we have Too Sexy For You from Clan Rev as the yellow Protoss tribe. In the bottom right corner, we have Nom.attentat as the white Zerg brood. So that was a really fast Nexus. I think if you're taking that really fast Nexus, you can't get aggressive with that Zealot. Like, you need that Zealot to defend. Because if Too Sexy For You had the extra Zealot, it would, it would be able to hold that. Now, generally with Gateway Expand, you don't get the Nexus until you've started the second Zealot, and you get it at around 21 supply. But it looked like, because they scouted first and because Zerg went for that really fast hatchery, they were able to take the faster Nexus. It's just losing that Zealot is so important. Yeah. Alright, and the pylon is down, and we're going to see probably, it looks like another gateway. Yep. So gateway, and we'll see which way this probe scouts. He is scouting to the left, so that is going to be a last scout if it gets all the way around, but the Overlord should swerve up here and be seen, and that should take care of it. And we do have that same 12 hatch, 11 hatch play from attentat. I think that's a bit odd. I don't know if maybe there's something like that that's good for, but it definitely, like, usually it's supposed to be like 12 hatch, but I guess, it's like 10 hatch, 9 pool, 9 extractor. That might be a build. The gateway coming out, first Zealot on the way. Probe again is going to get that last scout. Tentat says it's a little safer versus cannons and stuff. Got it. That makes sense. So, like, if the Protoss was going to cannon rush the natural here, you'd be able to get the hatch up sooner. I see, or get the Zerglings out sooner, something like that. So we can see that Too Sexy For You doing the standard gateway thing because they don't get the scout off. So they're building their second Zealot, they're building the additional probe, and they're getting their Nexus at around 21. Technically 20. I've seen it said that it's supposed to be 21, but I mean, it basically is just all the timing. Yeah, so I mean, they get that. Attentat shouldn't be able to keep the pressure on. Too Sexy For You is just going to be constantly pumping Zealots, adding on the Forge, and then be able to just block off the wall and get cannons up and be safe from a Link Flood. But that was theoretically how Game 1 was supposed to go. And attentat is continuing to make Zerglings. Oh, no Zealot in production at the gateway. Again, you really need that, like, 3 Zealots, right? Especially because I don't think one Zealot blocks this wall. No, he does have 3. Good. So you want to keep 3 Zealots. Cannon is being added, so he just has to make sure the Zerglings can't get around and in. Ooh, they're trying. He has to ideally limit. Oh, another great surround. Really damaging that Zealot, and now the top lane has been busted, essentially. The cannon is so close to finishing, but this should be a hold. The gateway may fall, but that's okay. The cannon will finish. The cannon will finish. And now he just has to block. Oh, the Zealot ran too far forward. That Zealot wedged right there. He might have been able to save it, but the probe also was not doing a great job defending the gateway. But with the extra probes, we have another cannon, another gateway coming in. Too Sexy For You with his life on the line. Zealot coming up to help deal with the Zerglings up in here. But he needs to be back at home to defend the wall because we have more Zerglings. Sometimes you just make Zerglings, and in this case, Zerglings are 100% the answer. Too Sexy For You is going to probably lose this game. doing his best. That zealot is living. Okay, gateway coming down. We're gonna see a zealot immediately start from it. Yeah, I mean, that zealot falls. The gateway's going to die. Cannon in the main. That's a plan. Unfortunately, here's the thing. Protoss is going to lose their natural, and Zerg has 3 bases. So that's bad. Also, Zerglings. So Zerglings are just running up. We see that the Stargate has started. Probe's trying to get on top, but that's not going to happen. And attentat with an absolutely crippling 2-0. The kind of 2-0 that makes players quit StarCraft, honestly. That was such great... That's the wrong splash screen. That was just a really good play there from them. And with that play, they're going to put a point on the board for the 4-pool Lifeguards. Our next match is going to be the Clan Ami Civil War with AmiTheseus versus AmiAshen in a PVT. I think our first PVT of the day. So let's go ahead and load us in. And in the top, reverse top, the opposite of what I just said, left corner, we have AmiAshen playing as the pink Protoss tribe. And bottom right corner, we have AmiTheseus playing as the green Terran. What? Can someone please explain why the green on the command center looks 5 shades lighter than the green on the SCVs? I would appreciate that a whole lot. Alright, that's the wrong button. Time to see what's going on. PVT is a very volatile matchup. Generally, the Protoss just has to, like, do random shit. Not really random shit, but, it generally is... The Protoss is the problem presenter, and Terran is the problem solver. Like, the onus is on Protoss to just kind of be like, hey, can you deal with this? Okay, you can. Can you deal with this? Okay, you can. Can you deal with this? Oh, you can't? I win! Which is why, like, a lot of players tend to get the idea that, like, Protoss just gets to do so much in the matchup, when, like, the reason for that is that if they don't do all that, if they don't constantly present problems for Terran macros up, they get 3-2, they do a Doom push, and Protoss loses. Of course, that is horrifically simplified, though, so... in this case, it looks like Protoss is just doing regular stuff, and Terran is just doing regular stuff. It's going to be a first scout from our green Terran. Probe not being sent out to scout. I think generally you do that. Yep, you do that on Cybercore. So Cyber started. We're going to start mining gas from the assimilator. And from that, we're going to see what tech path Ashen goes for. Doesn't look like we're going to be hiding anything out on the map. At least not yet. Theseus, meanwhile, has the money. Factory going down. And do we see the expansion shift? We do not. So it is going to be a 2-fac from AmiTheseus. Of course, these players are tier 1, which means that we can be a pretty safe in calling that, yeah, this SCV is moving to kind of just make sure there isn't anything out there. We can be pretty safe in calling that leaving these SCVs on gas is a deliberate choice, and we can see that now. If this was tier 3, I might have had some hesitation at calling this was a 2-fac, but at tier 1, you know what these players are doing. These players know what they're doing, and our first Dragoon is out. Now, there are a couple things that can hard counter 2-fac. getting a Nexus at 23 is not one of them. Generally, you'll either want to have like double gateway or DTs. Either of those can be a really... Okay, I like the bunker going down. This is like the fake out, right? So we're gonna watch Ashen's vision to see if Ashen ever spots that, confirms that there's no command center, right? Because as long as Ashen is kind of baited by this bunker and believes that a command center is here, Ashen won't adjust their build to deal with the 2-fact push. Yeah, it looks like they're not continuing to poke. Singularity charge is almost done, which means that the Dragoon will have free range to start hitting that bunker. But again, they need to confirm if the CC is there or not, which they haven't scouted yet. They didn't scout with their probe earlier, and they aren't scouting with the Dragoon right now. We have the Robo coming, so that's also very good. Robo is basically you get the observers to deal with the spider mines, because that's sort of the natural like conclusion of what the Protoss needs to do. Is once you put pressure, Terran gets their expansion, they get siege mode, and then they get spider mines, and you have to get observers to deal with the spider mines. Okay, looks like a scouting SCV was blocked, but it does see that it is a Nexus. Again, Singularity Charge has started. This Dragoon has not done any additional poking, but we do have 2 extra gateways being added on right now. But here comes the push. And as we can see, no CC was ever started, and so we have our 2-fact push coming. Siege mode just about finished, and we have our constant Vulture rally. This is a great pick off there, getting that first Vulture early. That SCV is also a huge pick off, and basically getting both of those really delays this push. They're going to have to rally another SCV or just really rely on their reinforcing Vultures. Yeah, so we have 2 more SCVs pulled. One of these might just be to try to expand behind this, but no, it is both dedicating to the push. And here's the thing, we have Dragoons on pseudo-low ground. You don't actually get high ground advantage in this area. But again, wonderful stutter stepping here from Ashen. Picking off, taking shots at the Marines, has the wounded Dragoon in the back, just staggering Theseus every step of the way. So now, they're at the lip of the mouth. They kind of have a contain going, but we have 3 gateways. We have a shuttle, essentially, that we can get. We were fighting forward. Okay. Clears one of the siege tanks. Oh, huge spider mine. Really wounds all of these, but second, more spider mine. Does also take out those Dragoons, and the SCVs finish them off. So, here's the thing, though, right? Trading your push for Dragoons is not what the Terran wants to be doing. The Protoss is already on 2 bases. We have a 10-worker lead for the Protoss. This Vulture can get some damage done. Spider Mine going down. The Dragoon can kind of face... Okay. The Dragoon just says, no, I'm going to YOLO face tank it. This Dragoon needs to plug the hole. And it looks like he's able to, but Theseus keeping the pressure on. Amazing spider mines. They hit the both. Each spider mine hit a single Dragoon and splashed the other in the same breath. So Theseus actually is 100% recovering from what would have been a failed push. That's with a frankly amazing play with these Vultures. Now the Dragoon will be coming up, but we do have spider mine. Yeah, and here's the thing, right? The observers were a little delayed. So, well, actually, never mind. There is one out already. So this will defend it, but Ashen ends this with only a 7-worker lead, and the base is up. But Theseus is just about to finish their CC. Now it's time to put pressure on the Terran again, because Terran hasn't replaced their siege tank count. But again, it's the issue with Terran is the issue for the Protoss, rather, is that once Terran gets siege mode, they just sit in their main, and you can't really put any more additional pressure here, and you just kind of have to, like, macro behind this, limit how many Vultures get to be out on the map, and take a 3rd base, which Ashen is moving to do right now. So, wonderful play there. Still have 4 Vultures out on the map, and that's extremely scary. But yeah, Nexus, 2 pylons going down, 3 pylons going down, 4 pylons going down. Love this wall. Kind of keeps the vultures from just being able to run into this mineral line here. Oh, hiding the probe up here, I also really like this, so that now when Ashen wants to build this base later, they don't have to risk the probe. Well, never mind. They don't have to risk the probe running in the open field. And the vultures actually were going to mine up this, get one vulture. The vultures were going to mine this base, and they ended up just mining this, you know? So, really great. That works out really well for Ashen, essentially. And they're checking for the spider mine, no spider mines. And now, Ashen just gets to probably just park a Dragoon right there and take this base as well. There's the 3 pylons. Yeah, really great call here from Ashen, defending the 2-fac, and or barely defending the 2-fac, and instead of trying to counter pressure, just expanding out and playing very safe. If they hadn't lost those last few Dragoons and the worker count was more in Ashen's favor, if they were able to maintain that benefit, I would say that you know, they might have wanted to do some counter pressure, really contain the Terran, but with the game working out as it did, I think that going for the greed and expanding works out a lot better. Nexus going down for Ashen on the 4th. Vulture's trying to figure out how to get up there. Unfortunately, it is already blocked, and Theseus is going to have to run away from the Dragoons. Or it's these Dragoons. Terran behind this is recovering their economy, going up to 5 factories, 33 SCVs to 43 probes. Ashen up 2 bases, which is generally an indicator that Protoss is in the lead. The TVP indicators are basically if Protoss is 2 bases up, Protoss is in the lead. If Terran is on even bases with Protoss, then Terran is in the lead. We have our Stargate and Templar Archives started at roughly the same time. So, hot tip to the Protoss out there, if you're going for the Arbiter timings, start your Stargate and your Templar Archives at the same time. They'll finish at around the same time, and you'll be able to perfectly time that to start your Arbiter Tribunal. Zealot legs being developed, which is basically the next part of the Protoss plan. You get a lot of Dragoons, you can spread them out across the map. You limit the Terran's capabilities to run vultures around, and then you start adding on extra gateways, you start adding on zealots, and you start working on your tech. Zealots are what lets the Dragoon get the space to fight into the Terran army and put damage on the siege tanks. And the Terran is doing the same thing with vultures, basically, since vultures are what lets the siege tanks siege up and engage with Dragoons and zealots. Yeah. Ashen is looking very comfortable right now. 2 cannons being added on their 4th base. We already have 3 at their 3rd, mineral only. No gas storage yet. So I guess they're probably going to throw that down. Really great engagement there, shaving off some of the vultures as Terran is moving across the map. And the big thing with Protoss is similar to the big thing in TVZ, where Terran just has to keep delaying the Zerg from getting to their base. Protoss is essentially doing the same thing. You have to keep delaying the Terran from getting over here with their late game army. Arbiter Tribunal just now finishing. We should see the Arbiter and Stasis started. Because remember, you always research Stasis first, you never research Recall first. Ashen knows this. So that is the trick to being a tier 1. Great flank by the Zealots, running straight on top of the tanks, buying so much room for the Dragoons to get on top here, and they're just running forward, and they can just get also, you know, just sit on top, maybe not the cleanest engagement here, but they are going to be picking off this entire Terran army. So great job here. Not the cleanest trade, like I said, but Protoss can remax, has Zealots flying in, and these Zealots will be able to deal with the siege tanks. Oh. What? Well, that's funny. It looks like he had to kill his own spider mine that was getting his other spider mine trapped. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gateways versus about 5 factories. That is about even. Vultures running around. Zealots trying to also move around. Ashen doing a great job with their micro. Vultures will do a run around here. And they... Oh, laying spider mines down. Great move. But with the cannons set up, the Vultures really won't be able to get too much done. That was not as much damage as I thought it would do to that army. Arbiter. First Arbiter nearly complete. I believe that is the first Arbiter. Looks like it. So now Ashen is just moving around the map, making sure they're keeping tabs on what the Terran is doing, clearing the map this way so that they can take these bases, and Theseus is running the Vultures behind here just to also delay that base for as long as possible. He should also lose all these Vultures though, which is fine. Vultures are basically free. You pay 75 minerals for the spider mines, and then the biker man just is a bonus on top. Great mine clearing from Ashen. Theseus does have their third base up, so they're no longer 2 base Terran in it. They've added on their 6th factory. Let's see what those upgrades are looking at. 1-0. With 1-1 on the way, 2nd Armory also on the way, so we'll have 2-2 started around the same time. And Ashen just poking around, making sure. Oh no, he didn't clear out the Vultures. That should be okay. If he can get at least a single photon cannon up, he will be able to defend the space. But it really is up to Theseus to kind of check up there. First Arbiter out. Arbiter energy being researched. So this is why you research stasis before recall, is because stasis and recall are both researched already, and the Arbiter has the energy for stasis, not the energy for recall. Oh, taking both these bases. Yeah, see, Ashen is flush with cash. 172. They're absolutely about to be maxing out. Vultures running around. Yeah, Ashen has the map control and the macro to set them up. Now Vulture's dead. And he's out of spider mines, so he's essentially worthless. Yeah, I mean, this is looking like the game is insanely in Ashen's favor. They're maxed out, essentially. They're building up a bank. They've expanded to the other main, which is generally the tiebreaker for Neo-Sylphid. Yeah, I mean, Neo-Sylphid doesn't really cut cleanly. Generally, if you're able to get the 2nd main and hold it, you're in a really great position. And there doesn't look like there's really any indicator that Ashen is close to losing it. Theseus still doesn't have like their +2 attack or +1 armor. They're sitting at around 124 supply, which can still be very deadly for the Terran player, especially since we don't see really that huge of an upgrade advantage for Ashen. But there is a limit to Terran efficiency. and Protoss can just, you know, face roll over their 15 gateways. You build 10 more gateways in this base, and then every time you take a fight, you instantly remax and go and take another fight. And Terran just doesn't really have the capability to do that, though we do have a command center expanding to the 4th mineral only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this puts the Terran from being abysmally behind in terms of economics, just being slightly behind, right? But Terran's main, both mains are basically mined out. The Nat for Protoss is nearly mined out. So once this base mines out, Terran will be essentially one mining base behind the Protoss, and that'll even the game up a little bit. Base being taken here by Ashen, a very cheeky hidden base. All the attention from Theseus are on the lines that go like from this base up through here, from this base over here, and they're expanding in this direction. So they're not really checking for this base. I think that, oh wow. If that barracks was slightly far forward, it would be scouting this pylon. That is very unfortunate for the Terran player. But as it is, Ashen will be able to set up photon cannons here, and eventually be building probes from this nexus to mine this base out. Yeah, I mean, this is looking fantastic for Protoss. Recall being researched. +3 attack? Yeah, +3 attack, +1 armor being researched. And now Ashen is going to start itching for a fight, because they don't necessarily have to, but they have the resources, and Theseus isn't banking resources up. They aren't maxed. So if Ashen is able to take even a slightly efficient trade, they remax and they just keep fighting, and they keep Theseus off of being able to do the same. I think sending Dragoons face first into the opponent is a bad idea, although I think the thought from Ashen is to make sure that there aren't any spider mines in between where his army is at and the Terran army is at. Theseus does a great job of rebuilding the mines. I mean, there are enough nice mines here to discourage the Protoss from attacking. You also see a second Stargate being produced in the mineral line of the main. We'll probably see either a fleet beacon. It might just be double arbiter production, which is also fine. You can read this base. This third base is extremely recallable. You just, you know, send the arbiter in at like this angle or this angle, and then just recall over it. Now we have the science vessels added in. That'll let the Terran kind of actually engage with arbiter armies without constantly draining comstat sweeps, and with EMPs on the arbiter, you know, they won't have to dodge in here. And the EMP hits. No stasises for the Protoss army, but the Zealots are getting on top of the tanks. They aren't fighting where there are spider mines defending them, and that is a huge engagement here for Ashen. They do eventually lose enough Zealots that they have to back off, but there's 13 gateways here, there's 3 more here, and a 5k bank. Theseus also finally kind of banking up their resources. But that's the thing, is if Ashen, they just need to repopulate and then take this fight again and keep doing that over and over again with these Zealots. Unfortunately, I think he's lacking, the critical mass of gateways he needs for that, but he is adding on the extra gateways to his second main. Adding in all those extra Zealots. Vultures moved on a siege tank. Not the best plays in the world, but, you know, sometimes those misclicks happen. And now, Theseus is coming in for another engagement. Great line of tanks here to really stagger the Zealots, but unfortunately it does leave them kind of vulnerable for Ashen to just kind of wrap around them. And with that, this army is actually going to be completely cleaned up, and Ashen will be able to replenish. Theseus won't. Theseus sees that, and GG's out of the game. That was a really good PvT from Ashen. It was a great game from both of them, honestly. I think Theseus did the best they could with a failed 2-fac, but when you have kind of the fundamentals of how macro works, and at tier 1 you start getting these opponents who don't let you get away with it, yeah, you just get games like that where your opponent, as a Protoss, says, you tried to 2-fact me, I'm not dead, I'll just expand macro and win the game. And that tends to work. Especially when the Protoss is not me and is very patient and takes good fights. Alright, in the top left corner of Good Night, we have AmiTheseus as the light pink, hot pink Terran squad. In the bottom right, we have AmiAshen as the blue, just general blue Protoss tribe. This is also cross spawns, so if Theseus goes for 2-fac again, I would be very surprised if it works. Good Night in general is a much better macro map than it is an aggressive map, unless you're Protoss and you're putting 2 gateways in the middle. I think in general, Theseus is probably just going to be going for a macro game instead. And, yeah. I think really the core math of what went wrong in Game 1 for them was that failed 2-fac at the beginning, and they just never quite recovered economically to catch Ashen, who was like, oh, you 2-fac'd, you doubled down, I'll just, you know, put, like, cocaine in my economy. Looks like it's going to be a last scout for both, or a second scout. Well, it's going to be a last scout for Theseus because they're checking cross spawns, but AmiAshen is going to get a second scout off. Oh, does see the SCV. The SCV I don't think saw the probe. And it is going to be the expansion build. Theseus sees its robo, so shouldn't, it's robo and an expansion, so they shouldn't think anything too suspicious is up. AmiAshen seems to be a pretty solid, just a macro player in general, so I doubt that they're going to cancel this and make a Citadel anytime soon. Second gateway being added on, singularity charge finished, so this Dragoon, oh, we see great timing here on the SCV as well. What the fuck? What the fuck is this range? There's no academy. He didn't get marine range. I guess you know what? Terran just gets that, I guess, sometimes. Okay, I gotta say, there are some ranges in Brood War that make no sense. Champion saying, name something more frustrating than trying to get a Dragoon to shoot a bunker without taking hits. It's actually impossible. Especially attacking up. So, Brood War has the dumbest fucking thing where, like, it calculates different distance in the most esoteric way. Like, side to side, this bunker has, like, this much range. Up and down, the bunker has, like, this much range. And then diagonally, the bunker fires, like, all over this area. It's so, like, things fire, like, diagonally way further than they do just, like, in any straight direction. I blame squares. Third base from Ashen, so standard Protoss, you get your third base at around, I think this was placed probably around 6:30, as I've heard is the standard time. They aren't taking a fourth, but they are checking for where they want to put their fourth. But they aren't taking their fourth because they know that their opponent has a normal macro. They actually have better macro, 41 SCVs to 40 probes. And that when the Terran doesn't have a crippled economy, you can't skip, you know, your mid phase here with 3 bases. Theseus just continuing to build up their tank count. This observer can probably worm its way in, just wants to check on the factory count. Be sure that Theseus isn't going for a extremely, actually, yeah, this observer needs to get in and see that there's 5 factories being made. He does need to confirm that so he can add on the additional gateways. What tier is this? This is tier 1. So going up to 6 gateways. Really great pylon placement from Ashen. I need to probably copy this because my gateway pylon placement is garbage. This poor mining in this corner. So also no supply block on our tier 1 gods. Yeah, no observer getting in the main right now, so he doesn't know the exact factory count. But again, going up to 6 gateways is fine. Champion saying observatory wall versus pylon wall at Nat separates the top tiers from bottom. True. That is honestly the truest statement. Yeah. 6 gateways is fine, but I think the general rule of thumb is you want, like, roughly double your opponent's factory count as Protoss. So, Ashen is going to want to try to get, like, 3 extra gateways and go up to 9 in order to actually be able to contend with, the 5 factories. But Crowbar, a much better player than me in chat, says, or from the analyst desk in chat, that a cross-spawn 5-fact push will not end well. And we saw in game 1 how good Ashen was about, you know, staggering the Terran push. but it looks like because his army was a bit too split up, he doesn't really have the room to stagger this push, picking off a couple of these vultures. Also, Templar Archives on the way, no Stargate, huge bank, supply block. Ashen in defending this push, the stars align to create the most awkward situation for them to defend. With the Templar Archives up though, they can grab a couple of DTs, try and force out scans. Now these Comsat stations are pretty heavy on their energy, so it will take a couple of baits to run that down. He is also taking his 4th base behind this, while Theseus is focusing on this push over here. The vulture numbers look like they're thinning, and the push continues. I mean, the tanks finally get up, they begin to siege, we're going to see some huge volleys, but the Zealots get there just in time, bait all the tank shots, no target fire from Theseus, and this is going to be a cleanup. Or is it? It is, but just barely. Once again, like, they cleaned the Terran army up, but so many Dragoons are lost, and we have, oh my god, there's still a tank here. We still have vultures rallying across the map. Well, at home, all we have are 3 Zealots and 3 Dragoons versus the oncoming Terran. An off-center command center going down at the 3rd. Luckily, Terran get free mulligans with their town hall placement. But yeah, Theseus is just looking for those extra bases now and decide they're going to try to put pressure on the 3rd base here. This 4th is wide open, but they haven't scanned it yet. So instead they're going to siege up here, Ashen putting some photon cannons down so that the vultures can't just run up. But the siege tank, like, 3 shots photon cannons, I think. Siege tanks do infinite damage, 75 to 200. Yeah, they'll 3-shot the cannons. And so Ashen is going to have to do something about this. And remember, they have the Templar Archives but no Stargate, so they're on pure Gateway Man right now. They don't have any of the advanced tech that they really want. And yeah, leading with his Dragoons first. Zealots coming in to tank some of the spider mines. But, okay, this rest of this army here, they are going to clear that spider mine. Zealots are going to get on top of the tanks. It's just what they need. They really need to focus down these siege tanks. Ashen's identified the part of this push that will end it, and they do get it. However, 4 more tanks are out on the map, ready to reinforce. These vultures can't break the ramp, but these reinforcing tanks absolutely can. Ashen bringing their army back over to try and just fight through this. Again, they just have to keep limiting how many tanks are over on this side of the map. But with the tanks sieged up, the Dragoons won't be able to take this fight on their own. Imagine if we had a Dark Templar here. It would die immediately because they're spider mines. But we can dream. We can dream some dreams. Instead, Ashen is going to take out the siege tank. Theseus now on 3 bases. As soon as he moves the SCVs down, he'll be operating on about an even economy as Ashen. Ashen beginning those throw-up defenses at their 4th base. They do have 15 probes more than their opponent, but unfortunately, I don't see where that is helping them. Zealots coming in, trying to, again, just thin the spider mine field, but more vultures are coming in. That's 12 more spider mines. Looks like a tank just barely doesn't get picked off by the Dragoons. The Dragoons are going to run in, but that is always a terrible idea. Vultures get up in the main. Every single probe here dies, and Ashen is set down nearly 20 probes. Back down to being even with Theseus. And again, only on 2 mining bases compared to Theseus's 3, and Protoss mines out their bases much faster, so these bases are looking extremely thin. Yeah, I mean, Ashen is going to have to take another set of bases somewhere. The problem is, if they don't expand past this base here, they're going to run out of minerals and eventually be starved out of the game. Now, that isn't to say that Theseus doesn't... Theseus is running over here to check. Checks for that base, doesn't see it, and isn't running any more forward, but he is going to lay those spider mines down. Anyways, he is going to check up here. Scan does go down, doesn't quite see it, so he has to throw down the 2nd down, and he scan down, and he does spot the base, and he is coming in for the fight. I guess the question here is, what is Ashen going to do? If he loses this base, he will be behind Terran on bases. He will have a bank to be able to expand twice, but again, leading with Dragoons. I guess we're starting to see, like, even why these tier 1 players, like, even they make some of the mistakes that you see these lower tier players make. The Zealots do eventually come in, but at the same time, the Vultures reinforce start chewing through them. There's a lot of very damaged Zealots, a couple of Siege Tank volleys ruins all of them, but that is a lot of Zealots. They're going to run up here. The Vultures haven't been activated. There's no Spider Mines on the ramp to stop them, so this push is going to die, and this base actually lives. Ashen 100% needed that to stay in this game. So the Vultures will get cleaned up. But behind this, I mean, really, the key takeaway here is that Theseus's siege tank count was reset. Now, if you're committing in a push like this, I think Theseus had to kill this base. Because right now, if you look back at their base, they have 4 siege tanks and 2 factories that can produce them. So we're basically going to be seeing siege tank, and then some mix of Vulture Goliath. Oh, he's adding on the machine shop because he has to get that siege tank count built back up. Siege tanks are what allow Terran to be as good as they are. And if that count is limited, well, really the Terran's limited. In that case, Terran taking the surprise hidden 4th base at the top right corner. But at the same time, Ashen taking their 5th, they've reestablished their 3rd, and so once these bases mine out, these probes will transfer over to those bases, and they'll stay on those 3 mining bases, while Theseus will basically be on 2. Their natural is just about gone, their main is just about gone, their natural's getting there, so they have these 2 extra bases. They are going to take a 5th base as well, so they should be able to secure that. Ashen, unfortunately, doesn't really have the space in this game to be able to prevent Theseus from taking this base. They kind of can get this base, but this base is hidden, hence why it exists. Photon cannons and the ramp will prevent the Vultures from actually attacking up. Vultures suiciding into the Protoss lines just to throw some Spider Mines down. Again, Vultures are essentially free units, so this costs nothing for Theseus. Arbiter Tribunal just about finished for Ashen, and we're going to see that late game Protoss begin the work. Let's do an upgrade count, because for Protoss we look at tech, for Terran we look at upgrades. 2 attack, 1 armor, with 2nd armor on the way. It looks like we only have, well, we have 2 armories. It looks like our 2nd armory just isn't spinning. So with that, Terran is getting into their late game push. Ashen, if he sends just a couple of Zealots up here, that base gets denied. And the big transfer is probably... Oh, if that transfer is going... Okay, good. Oh, but there is a transfer. So as soon as... If Ashen stays and sees this, that 100% is a clue that there's a base up here. So he 100% sees this. The SCVs die, and Ash has to be thinking, why were there SCVs out here? We're not late enough game that you're donating SCVs as a Terran. And yeah, we can see Ashen's army beginning to move up. The Observer looking around. Maybe Ashen doesn't clue onto that. Well, looks like this base lives another day. Ashen on 3 mining bases. Theseus on, this will count this as 1 base. 1, 2, 3, 3 mining bases as well. This one hasn't been activated yet. So pretty much an even game. Well, actually, Terran is in the lead, right? Again, even mining bases means Terran is in the lead. And so once this base actually turns online, Theseus will be very far ahead. Theseus also very close to maxing out, which is another indicator that the Terran is ahead. And it'll really come down to our execution of late game armies to determine who is going to win this. Ashen positioning very well. I think really the key, like the takeaway here, right, is that Theseus is ahead, but technically ahead. This hidden base gets removed very easily, and we actually are going to see this probe is going to try to do what it did on Neosylphid, take all the Calling players by their other names. Well, I said Theseus is technically... Okay, whatever. The probe tries to take the next main. Ashen's probe tries to take the next main. And that is going to catch this base. And that's, I mean, that's the risk and the reward of taking hidden bases. Champion! Champion! Have you been watching this entire thing being like, why is Scimo casting these games incorrectly? My god. My god, champion. See, this is why you lose on Bloodbath. You have much to learn. Rest of the well, he's even mistyping even now. He's getting his own words mixed up. Alright, well, Theseus is going to try to move out, take advantage of the fact that Ashen moved out to kill that base, to push forward down deep into the Protoss territory. I mean, and it's going to work, right? You can't fight this as Protoss. Unless... Huge stasis, 5 siege tanks hidden, the vessel's dead, the zealots wrap around the tanks, and Protoss takes an amazing engagement. I mean, that is textbook Protoss. How many zealots do you think this many vultures kills? I'm just curious. How many zealots? That's record scratch. So, you're probably thinking how I got here. Just this fucking laser. Oh. Yeah. Champion, you're telling me. I'm like watching these fights that Ashen is taking, and I'm just like, oh, is this why Terran players say that Protoss is overpowered? Like, because there are Protoss players who can actually control their unit? Oh my god, Crowbar saying that's not a laser. That is a psi disruptor. Crowbarks. Actually, it is a particle. Oh fuck. It is a phase disruptor. I don't know why I wanted to call it a particle disruptor, but it is a phase disruptor, Crowbarks. Alright. Ashen takes a 2-0. We're gonna go back to the splash screen now. Crowbarks saying, yeah, I misspelled it a bit. That's what I meant. Uh-huh. Phase and psi are really close. Yeah, I mean, the H is right there. It's called a phase disruptor, actually. Ashen takes a 2-0, puts another point on the board for 4-pool Lifeguards. I mean, and now 4-pool Lifeguards is 1 point away from taking the Tier 1 Week 8 group. Let's keep going. Our next match is going to be Cenderze versus Kanzaki Renko. Is this a ZVZ? What? Since when does Kanzaki... I thought Kanzaki Renko played Zerg. Am I wrong? Did he change races, or has he always played Terran? Let's go. Let's find out in Neo-Sylphid and see how good his Terran's is. At the 12 o'clock position, Renko the Terran, wiping the sweat off their brow because they realized that they don't have 12 o'clock, which is the worst Terran position. It's a guaranteed loss, so I've been told by certain Terran streamers, who I will not name. But instead, at the 12 o'clock position, we have Cenderze as the Grey Zerg Brood. And in the bottom left corner of Neo-Sylphid, we have Kanzaki Renko playing as the yellow Terran squad. Yeah. Overlord heading to the bottom left for that first scout. And as we so the reason I think 12 o'clock is, Terrans say 12 o'clock is the worst, is because the natural in TVZ, like, the natural's fucked for building missile turrets. At least that's what I've heard. That's basically at these two positions, there's good places to put them, but at the 12 o'clock, like, spawn, it's basically impossible. Again, that's what I've heard. If any you know, Terran player asks, I didn't say it. I play Protoss, I don't know anything. I am a Protoss player. All I know is make 9-9 gate, recall Terran mains, and lie. Zorg, the drone will go out to scout because the Overlord doesn't quite get down here in time, and Kentucky Renko is building in their base. Yeah, so you can actually see like the way I guess the mining works here. You have to build the missile turrets like back here or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know the actual specifics on like what the placement or how bad it is. But yeah. I think that's what I think that's right. Anyways, Kentucky Renko taking an exceedingly fast command center. I guess it is a hatch first, but like that's very Ling floodable. Yeah, 2 pairs of Zerglings, 3 pairs of Zerglings, 3 pairs of Zerglings, and a lair. So Cenderze gonna be putting on the aggression here. I think Kentucky Renko is seeing like the spawning pool start and then all these Zerglings start. Will be like, oh, okay, you're building more than 1 pair of Zerglings. We need to get that bunker up ASAP. ASAP. Yep. There's 5 Zerglings running across, 1 Zergling chasing the SCV. This SCV actually could turn and fight the Zergling, but it won't because it's a coward. Bunker going down, and that's a supply depot, not a bunker going down, but you know, it still helps the wall for the Marines, but the Marines are going to run out and fight the Overlord. So really, honestly, the play from Cenderze is run the Overlord up this way so that the Marines are on the other side of the supply depot. But the Zerglings get in, they get on top, they try to get on top of the Marines, a bit of an unfortunate engagement there from Cenderze, but they do eventually get on top of the Marines, get 1, and that's it. Yeah, I think if the Overlord baited the Marines out into the field here, that would have been a really funny fight there. Good micro indeed. Spire going down. This SCV is still alive, dude. Kentucky Renko. Hero. Yeah. Drobes. I know this isn't the same SCV as earlier, but you know what? He lives enough, he gets out. 4 mutas on the way. Engineering bay is done, so we should be seeing missile turrets start all over pretty soon. Missile turret, probably see one put like right here or here. CPL! Yes. Right, Muda's coming in. Oh! Taking their shots. Oh! But the Muta Micro is hard to do. It's oh so fun, but oh so hard. Spreading the damage across the Marines, the medics heal it right back up. Just taxing the Terran Micro. Great missile turrets placed down for our Terran player, though. You know, defending the barracks, defending this side of the barracks. This mineral line kind of isn't defended, but if the mutas actually dive in here, they're kind of dead anyways. The Marines just run in and they're trapped. Actually, no, you could come around here, hit these SCVs, and run out the back. You know what? Okay. Damn! Dude, imagine if mutas actually were killable. That'd be crazy. Ooh, great split there. Great damage there. Again, mutas just 100% pay for themselves in terms of just chewing through Marines. Oh, and they're gonna get that supply depot too. And that supply depot supply blocks Kanzaki Renko, who's already supply blocked. No, go for it! Cenderze! Do it! You're supply blocked as well! Do it! Do it now! It's right there! It's right there! Kill it! Please, you have 5 million Mutalisks. Yes! The supply block on Renko continues there at 52 total supply with 60. They are building 2 supply depots which will unsupply block them, but these mutas do a lot of damage. Again, they could still dive in here, kill a bunch of SCVs and dive out the back and then just swing around. Oh my god, all those Marines are dead. That's not great. I'm pretty sure these mutas can just fight these missile turrets. And it looks like Cenderze agrees with me. Fighting over there. No, there's 4 Marines! Dude, who would win? 10 Gods of Air and Death or 4 shooty boys? What a wild game. Missile turrets immediately getting replaced, and the mutas are going to dive back in. Again, adding on the extra barracks there to continue the supply production. 1 muta dives onto the missile turrets, sacrificing itself because it's just too good otherwise. We are back up to 10 Mutalisks. Behind this, Cenderze is getting their Hydra Den, so we will be seeing lurkers soon. 34 drones to 43 SCVs, and we are looking at a huge bank for both players. Actually, Cenderze has a 3rd base, so you know what? They're good. I was about to say, if they're both on 2 bases, that's bad, but Cenderze has their 3rd. Muta's diving in, getting some damage done, losing 1 Mutalisk, wounding 2 others. Big dive for the mutas. They lose 1. Lurkers coming on the way, and with no like bunker here. We do have science vessels, which are good against lurkers and against mutalisks. Oh! Dude, the anti-muta micro. Actually insane. Loses so many for free, but Zerglings do get in, but the bunker does finish. They're gonna fight over it. I think this game just got flipped on its head. That is 100% huge for Kanzaki Renko. Refrigerator in the chat says, I don't know how you guys defend the Nat from mutas. When the mutas run into your Marines for free, that's how you defend it. Oh shit, Kanzaki Renko doing the drop at the 3rd, that's huge. The Queen's Nest is there as well, but I guess, and the Hydrogen, this is the important building. The Marines should get picked up by the mutas. Oh, that hatchery. Oh my god. Actually insane. 230 HP left on the hatch. But we're down to 30 drones. We also have a 4th base coming down for Cenderze, and if the Zerg is 2 bases ahead, that is putting their opponent in a bad spot. Where are upgrades at? +1 air attack, +1/+1 for the Terran with +1/+2 on the way. Titan reactor being researched for these science vessels. Okay, Overlord dies, slightly supply blocking Cenderze. Cenderze trying to go for the Ultra Cavern. And if they can secure this gas, they 100% can go for it. But a Radiate goes down on the Mutas, doing a ton of damage. We have lurkers sitting outside the base, putting that consistent damage on, but with the science vessel out, no defilers to back them up. 4 lurkers? Not actually, that's... Oh! The Boxer micro on this Marine, he does unfortunately end up dying, but he had the jukes while he lived. Yeah, EskiyaPRIME just pushes across the map right now. There's only 1 sunken colony, no lurkers back home to defend, and he's not, well, he does have the Defiler Den, but I don't see any Defilers out ready to throw the Dark Swarms down, so we might be having an issue here for our Zerg player. Especially since he is doubly supply blocked, about to be triply supply blocked if this Overlord gets caught. Scans going down on the 3rd, sees a bunch of lurkers, sees slightly less lurkers, and decides that somehow the Nat is going to be a lot weaker. And it is. That's an honest assessment. Okay, the Radiate goes down on the lurker. Mutas are going to try to pick it off. Yeah. This, well, I mean, these aren't quite finished yet. There is no lurker at the start here though, so this should be game. Once this Nat gets broken and they get into the main to start dealing with that stuff, yeah. We do finally have Defilers coming out, but there's really nothing to use with them. You typically need like either a large amount of Zerglings or Lurkers or Ultras to work with your Defilers, but when you just have Defilers and some Lurkers that aren't in the base, it does not go as well. So these 2 bases will fall. Cenderze sending lurkers to kind of tamper the reinforcements, but I don't think there will be any tampering. Diving on the Ultra Cavern, good choice. Diving on the Defiler, good choice. Lurkers will get cleaned up as they're starting to burrow. Yep, that's unfortunate. And we're looking at a GG here. Cenderze leaves the game, and EskiyaPRIME takes game 1. And a very back and forth ZVT. I mean, look, they earned those scores. I'm just saying. That was a very good game. Let's swap back to our splash screen. We're going to load up game 2. I'm going to have to go off. Oh, you know what? Here. We'll do our introductions. Let the starting of it play out, and we'll I have to go use the bathroom. So, in our top right corner, as our blue Terran, we have EskiyaPRIME looking to take the 2nd win. In the bottom right corner, as the white Zerg Brood, we have Cenderze looking to tie the game up. And in the top right corner, we have EskiyaPRIME as the blue Terran looking to take their 2nd win and 2-0 their opponent. In the bottom right corner, we have Cenderze, the white Zerg, playing as the white Zerg Brood, looking to even the games up and take us to game 3. Here's an Overlord. Give me 1 second. I'm back just in time for the Overlord to actually get over to Cenderze's opponent's base. So that's a forward supply depot. What is Renko? Renko is going command center first. Well, now that's interesting. Cenderze doesn't see it! The Overlord! Okay, he does see the supply. Okay, he does. Okay, I was about to say that would have been very funny if he didn't see this. So does CC first trigger the does it trigger like the Zerg's kill reflex? Or does it trigger Cenderze's macro reflex? Like, are we about to see a third and a fourth base taken for free? Or at the very least a third base taken for free? I wonder. Crowbar, pull the drones, proxy the hatch, sunk the main. What the fuck is Renko? What is... Oh, this is the scout. I was going to say, is that SCV about to go build a third? But no. Yeah, straight into lair. Okay, the SCV does run straight down. I mean, you would if you... Well, I guess he doesn't know the Overlord's there. So the SCV going to get his first scout. That is very good for him. As the 4 Zerglings are going to pop. Zergling speed is started after lair. Before the lair finishes, but it is after the lair. And we have the full wall in. I think Zergling slipped through here, but I'm not sure how. Wouldn't it be funny if the Marine spawns right here? But it would have been funny, though. Alright, let's see. We got Zlings. These Zlings will fit. Do the fit? They don't fit. This is a tight wall. God, Terran. Why is playing Terran easy mode? You just get to throw your buildings, like, okay, here, barracks, supply, you go. Perfect wall, the Zerglings can't get in, and you can lift this up. You don't even have to kill it later. God. What a great race. I'm going to play Terran. Also, 8 SCV lead, although the Spire has started. That's going to be a 2-fac from Renko. So does Cenderze know that it's like that it's mech by the Marine count, right? Like this barracks isn't building, and the only time that would be the case is if the opponent's going mech, right? Jesus Christ, Zerglings do a ton of damage. Okay. He pulls the SCVs to repair. 4 facts going up. Charon boosters on the way. That's a sick name. Charon boosters. Makes me want to play Hades. Alright, we have another hatchery. 6 mutas coming. Yeah, Goliaths are really good versus mutas. Once they have the range. NGB base starting just in case. Gotta throw those missile turrets up so that the Goliaths have room to walk. Crowbark's in the chat saying, no eBay though. No eBay though. Incorrect. Okay, hold on. I forget that there's a delay to me saying things and it happening on stream, so I was about to be like, Crowbark, I literally just said the eBay started. Means not ready. Oh, okay. That is acceptable. How much damage do missile turrets? Okay, they do missile turret amount of damage. Oh. No Eve. Alright. Cenderze getting on top into the main here. That's Goliaths. Goliaths, they do, like missile turrets, they only tickle Mutalisks, but you know, it's a lot of tickling. Meanwhile, Cenderze taking a extra base. My god, that is a lot of Goliaths. Goliaths kind of look like Bionicles. Like they look like something that you would make from like a Bionicle set. Alright, Muta's coming in, cleaning off that missile turret, and so because Renko doesn't have an eBay made, it's gonna be really hard to get that missile turret rebuilt. It'll be a huge delay to that. Diving in here, getting on top of the factories, taking a lot of damage from the Goliaths. But at a certain point, Mutas kind of can fight Goliaths. I don't know if we're at that point yet, but it definitely is starting to look like it. Okay, Ovi dead. Oh, Burrow. Sick play, sick play. Cenderze has the info. Yo. Dude, free scouts. They're like stationary observers with 1/10 of their sight vision. I mean, that's a lot of Mutalisks. Mutas are good against Goliaths. They kind of are. SCV coming out over to scout that area. Mutas are going to catch it, but this main is wide open. Why aren't these guys firing? Why is Brood War like this? And now none of them are. Whoa, my god, dude! What a fantastic dude! I love. Oh! Charon booster, absolutely nuking Mutalisks. Oh my god, the anti-Muta Goliath micro, so sick, so sick. They're gonna get that hatchery. And these guys are gonna get this base. Oh, so good. Cenderze still has Mutalisks. Still making Mutalisks. They're making Zerglings. Zerglings are bad against Goliaths. And we have the single siege tank. The captain, the general. This is Edmund Duke himself. Coming to show the kids how to do some tactics. Okay, Muta stationary. The Master Sergeant. This StarCraft crashed. Let's pause there we go. Yeah. Alright, so we're at 10:59 on the replay. Thank you for waiting. Your call has been received, your complaint has been processed, and we are now returning to your regularly scheduled program at 10:59 so that we can continue viewing the rest of this replay. Zaki Renko with the Goliath attack has been moved into Cenderze main. Let's turn on that music so we can be jamming. And yeah. GG, well played. Cenderze leaves the game and Kanzaki Renko takes it 2-0. And that is another point on the board. Well, that is a point on the board. Hold on, let me remember which team Kanzaki Renko is. That is another point on the board for the 4-pool Lifeguards. And that means that they take this group at the very least 3-2. But, you know what? They might just take the clean sweep. I mean, that is a 2-0, a 2-0, and a 2-0 in their favor. If Arcade Plus and Balance bring it out, it very well could be a 4-pool Lifeguards sweep. But I hope, you know, we should be about halfway through the cast now, since our next match, EskiyaPRIME versus Arcade Plus, is going to be a TVT. So, yeah, that's, yeah. So we'll have we've been going for about 5 hours now, so in another 5 hours we should be done with this match. On the 12 o'clock position, EskiyaPRIME playing as the White Terran squad, or as their squad can be known as, they are the Halal Terran. Okay, yep. And in the bottom left, we have Arcade Plus playing as the bluish, light bluish Terran squad, looking to bring their team the 4-0. We have a supply depot from both Terrans. So nothing crazy, no BBS, no proxy barracks, no 10-10 command center. Just clean, good old-fashioned Terran. Arcade Plus with the first scout. Well, they're both scouting. Are they both scouting to the bottom right? They will find nothing there. It looks like they are, and they're both going to be wrong. Terran actually sending the SCV towards the middle just to check, you know, just to make sure that no offerings have been left by the proxy tree, and there have been none. The proxy tree will go offeringless. There will be no player will receive its blessings today. And yeah, barracks and then factory. Transfer off from Halal Terran, but Arcade Plus is ready for the 2-fac. 3 SCVs mining gas, moving one off as Halal Terran does scout it. But that is as they are setting up their second factory. So Halal Terran will know what build is coming, what to expect, what to prepare for. Meanwhile, no guys, SCVs are the worst. SCVs are the worst worker unit though. For real guys, they are. It's true. They're so bad. Again, this SCV getting great information. Oh, I thought that was, I thought that was a supply depot and he just blocked the machine shop. But that SCV does get cleaned off. And yeah, Arcade Plus is going to put their plan in action. And so yeah, I guess we're going to just have to look and see how is this game going to go? I mean, it's 2-fac versus not 2-fac, and not 2-fac player doesn't look very safe. They're getting their expansion there. Yeah. god, that SCV does actually just live. My god. Alright. So we do have, you know, siege tank coming up from Arcade Plus. Second factory being added on, but here comes the push. This vulture, unfortunately, is stuck behind the Marines, waiting in line for traffic, as his buddy gets to just zoom across the map. Yeah. That actually could be bad for Arcade Plus, but the vultures do finally pick back up. So they're just going to trying to one-shot the Marine down. And they do get him, so that's big. Marines do have good DPS. And now, as Siege Mode finishes for Arcade Plus, that Siege Tank is going to siege up. Nope, he's going to have to bait away from the SCVs. Getting a lot of good damage done, but again, like, I mean, if this doesn't work, Arcade Plus will be behind a lot. Tanks doing some damage. Arcade Plus building... Oh, I thought it... Well, Halal Karen's command center finishes, and that push is dead. A couple of SCVs get pulled to try to continue it, but a lot of the supporting units are just gone now. Ooh, siege mode, that's gonna be huge. Oh my god, that tank was so low though. So these will clear up the rest of these SCVs. But gosh, Halal Terran has a bunch of extra vultures. They have a siege tank, and I believe they have siege mode of their own. They might not actually. So siege mode goes down, that tank dies. Yeah, it looks like the 2-fac is not working. And Arcade Plus GG's. Halal Terran takes game 1, and that is 1 point for EskiyaPRIME. And if you're on the 4-pool Lifeguards, you're kind of sweating right now. Your perfect record might not actually work out if Halal Terran is able to pull out a second game like that. So let's hop on. It's going to be on Good Night, which, you know, already it's a larger map. It's a 4-player map, so that aggression is already limited. If Arcade Plus goes for a similar build, it's insanely likely that it'll, like, be even worse than game 1. But in the top left corner, we have Arcade Plus as the white-ish Terran squad. And the bottom left, we have Halal Terran, this time playing as like the light green, like lime green Terran. The lime Terran squad. Something like that. Oh! Arcade Plus. They know what to do. They know where to go on this map. It is time for the BBS. The proxy BBS. 1 barracks goes down. 2 barracks. 1 barracks. 2 barracks. It's time. Yes! And we should see the supply depot built on. Now it really just is going to be, what is Halal Terran going to do? Now remember, Halal Terran scouted the middle of Sylphid. So they like, in their decision tree making, check for proxies is in there, right? They aren't just going to go and scout the mains and assume that there aren't proxies. Like, Halal Terran is aware of this. So EskiyaPRIME, Halal Terran, very much could actually first send their SCV to the center to check for the BBS. So here comes the SCV scout. We're going to keep a watch on it. We're going to zoom in real close to add the suspense, see where it's going. I don't know what button does the map, but he's not checking the center. And now Arcade Plus has 2 SCVs scouting either end. He will find this base as his Marines are starting up. But remember, this is going to be a first scout from Halal Terran. It's not like Arcade Plus is down here and and Terran won't see this coming. They're gonna scout up. They're gonna see what's going on in here. Yeah, so he knows what the space is, and really it is just Terran. They just build a well, you know, factory works too, and you just build a bunker here. And there's the pull. The boys. The boys have been pulled. I'm sorry for yelling, but we have a full. This is a full boys operation. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let's go. The bunker is going up. Remember, like Arcade Plus, that bunker goes up. This does not work. Okay, we do have 2 SCVs coming up. Great target fire from Terran, but he needs to keep Arcade Plus needs to keep these Marines alive, because every single one he loses is one he can't get back. The SCV dies just before it can finish the bunker. The second SCV is trying to finish it. The bunker does finish, but remember that there are still SCVs fighting, and Terran cannot focus fire on the what he wants this bunker to target. Now but one vulture in production. Arcade Plus needs to get up here and camp this factory. If that vulture gets out, he needs to, it can kill all these Marines. Oh no, he walks it too far forward. He's targeting it down, but the vulture does get out. The vulture isn't quite dead, but the SCVs, I think there was just a bit of a miscalculation here on what he needed to be focused firing down. Like, these SCVs needed to be helping keep the Marines back, and also to help fight this vulture. So Terran, despite all odds, will take this game. Would switching the colors help Dada? Would they? Unfortunately, yeah, so, having been in this situation with Zealots before, what you generally want to do is you need to open up enough room for this vulture to get trapped. So, you would probably put, two SCVs. You would use 4 SCVs to have it boxed in. Then your other SCVs and Marines would try to take a good fight against the opponents. You would target down the opponent's Marines so that your Marines can kill their SCVs. And then when this vulture pops, you would come back and kill it, and then keep fighting elsewhere. It's very tricky. Luckily, because the factory was built up against the wall, it actually would have helped Arcade Plus, but, those are the hidden cheese techniques. And that's the wrong splash screen, and EskiyaPRIME is going to get the 2-0, putting the first win on the board for GOSU. That means we're going to move to our last game of the day, which is going to be Jess versus Balance in a TVZ. Are you serious? Okay. We're gonna switch over our overlay to our splash screen for the 5th time. Jess versus Balance, our final match. PVZVT. We're about a minute in, so I'm done. At this point, speeding up the game is a survival strategy for whatever the fuck my computer's deciding to do. It's gonna be a 12 pool from the 4 pool. 12 hatch from the 4 pool Balance. Standard Terran stuff from the Terran player Jess. Okay. Well, it's gonna be a first scout for Jess. Technically first scout for Balance, but there's an overlord that was scouting that missed it, so whatever. It's the same thing. First scout for both players. Terran doing Terran things, Zerg doing Zerg things. What are you gonna do about it? It's StarCraft. Hey. What are these Marines doing? Why are they out here? What are they doing? What are you guys doing? I guess you got a drone. That's pretty sick. Great job. Alright. We have sunken colonies being built at kind of an angle here, so you can kind of put another one, I guess, build the sunken colony down a little bit, so you, instead of like a straight line, you have like a staircase of sunkens. You know what? I bet that's okay. Yup. Engineering Bay halfway done. Academy almost finished. Spire almost finished. Damn, that sure is some ZVT ass ZVT we're watching. I must apologize if my commentary has dipped in quality. I frankly am just terrified of just like, you know, commentating this with enthusiasm and then my computer decides to kick me in the balls. Again. I don't know why I installed that program, but here it is. Alright, 7 mutas in production, plus 1 started as well. And we have enough sunken colonies that this attack shouldn't do anything. The mutas can tax the marine health and the marine count, and, you know, with 2 sunkens at the natural, yeah. Stim going down, mutas again just spreading the damage around the marines. Draining medic energy, also very important. Oh. Alright, but back at home, the missile turrets are getting up. The extra barracks are being added. So even though this whole force is probably going to die, we're getting the infrastructure to be secure, right? You're buying the time so that the mutas so the mutas aren't doing this in your main. I saying I love the players are using their team names. I agree. Having the little tag, I think it's fun. It's a fun little way to represent your team in your games. Third base being placed down by Balance as the mutas are going to come up here, and I'm not really a huge fan of the missile turret placement, but Again, it's Neosulfid. The mutas kind of have this amazing spot here to just sit and... No, the Mietics! Not the Mietics! They have to be replaced and they cost gas. They aren't free like Marines. Marines are 50 resources. And that's essentially like... nothing? Did they just cancel barracks? Yeah. That's a problem. Oh, medic? Medic dead. Muta micro on lock. Lurkers in production on the way. Meanwhile, Jess hasn't really teched up. They're just finally now getting their factory. So the science vessels are still a very far way away, and lurkers, I mean, if the lurkers get up here with the mutas, the lurkers could, you know, fuck up bio. Yeah. Balance has done an amazing job of keeping the Marine count as low as possible. Huge drone transfer to this third base. Oh, Queen's Nest on the way as well, so we are skipping straight to Hive. I mean, if this base is secure, there's a free fourth base for Balance. And once you have Zorgon 4 mining bases, especially when those mining bases have gas, it's kind of a hard road for the Terran. Marines kind of getting too close to the wall. Mutas popping out from the walls to kill them. Scan goes down, Mutas back off. And in a couple seconds, they can start camping back here. Now, we do have a scouting SCV. This is a really great play here by Jess. They will be able to see that Balance has taken this third base. And with the amount of Marines that they have, they're going to probably start trying to push out. Starport is done, so we can start seeing like a move towards science vessels. And once you like irradiate the Muta clump once, it's kind of like dead. So, yeah, Marines are just going to start walking across the map, heading to that base. But we do have lurkers. That lurker was within range of the missile turret. And the rest of these Marines are going to get killed. And yeah, I mean, there just isn't enough army here for Jess out on the map to actually to contend with this. Cenderze, I agree 100%. It's Balance is just playing such a clean match here, right? Like, they're limiting the Terran perfectly. Now the mutas, their health is running low. They're being... Well, I say that, but the lurkers did just kind of sit there for a while. Well, I mean, at least they did get all the Marines. And this missile turret will eventually die. The missile turret looks like it's still going to burn down. The mutas all get cleaned up. But that is a lot of Zerglings flowing in, and honestly, that's like probably the play. It's like, oh, if I just make 50 million Zerglings, you just die? Yeah. That's how that works. Lurkers get on top of the mineral line, start tearing through SCVs. Zerglings are tearing through SCVs as well. There's a lot of SCVs to spare, but with the Marines dying, Jess is crying. Natural is about to fall, and that is just going to be more Zerglings. Yeah, Balance is just flooding Lings across the map. Frankly, that's really all they need to do. Lurkers getting on to the main. And as that one gets cleaned up, we have a couple more Zerglings. Ooh. You know, Jess handled this very well, I must say. Now, of course, we do have the next round of lurkers coming up, and we don't have any science vessels yet. Yeah. Now, we do have some boxer movement on the Marine. It did live. The lurkers are going to target down this ComSat station, and that's going to be one less scan Jess has available. And Jess, GG's in Allied chat, and leave. lose the game. Putting a win, that's the wrong one. That was last week. Putting a win on the board for Pool Lifeguards. Balance looking to make that a complete win so that they can bring home the 4-1 for their team. Let's let into game 2 on Good Night. In top right corner of Good Night, once again playing as the Gray Zerg Brood, we have 4 Pool Balance. And in the bottom right corner of Good Night, we have GOSU Jess, once again playing as the Pink Terran Squad. Alright. Cenderze saying they were casted during their walk. Well, you can always, that's the great thing about, you know, videos on demand. You can always go back and watch it. And make clips of your match, of all the great, fantastic moments that happened, and post them in the CPL Clips channel so that staff and, you know, various other people can look at them, easy access, get the highlights of matches, and, you know, make hype videos and whatnot later down the line. So you should do that. It's going to be another 12 something variation. Looks like another 12 hatch from 4 Pool Balance. Meanwhile, Jess is going to be setting up the full wall at their natural, just to be super safe from those link floods. Let's follow this guy around. Oh! RNG. No way. Oh, get him! Get him! Get him! Get him! Get him! Balance the god. That drone gets the SCV and gets out. Trading efficiently, effectively. No Zerglings. Going straight to lair. No, well, I guess he is getting Zergling speed. Nope, there are Zerglings. Never mind, I'm a bad caster. But they are going to kill that SCV. Okay. Spire just about finished, so mutas will be on the... Oh, shit. 2 Zerglings are not going to be able to get in here, but Spire just about finished, and I think Balance is essentially just going to play it like he did last game, going straight into, like, good muta harass, keeping Jess in their base, and then, follow it up with Lurkers. Try to win the game from there. Valuable Zergling ever. Alright, mutas are out. Time to start flying across the map. I do like the missile turret placement in this game a lot more though. Especially once you fit the barracks up in here. That'll yeah. That's really good. Yeah. So here's the mutas. We're gonna get in here. Again, I like this missile turret placement. Unfortunately, I don't really like the starport being all the way down there. Probably would have preferred if it was placed here. Even like right up here above these missile turrets. Unfortunately, yeah, that is going to have to be... I hope that was a cancel. I didn't see if it was a cancel or a kill. 3 more mutas en route. Overlord, third base getting up. The mid count is looking very thin. I think Balance is just playing a really nice game here. Like, they found the corner to tuck their mutas into, and Balance or Jess doesn't really have a good way to fight this back. Now these mutas are going to be doing some damage to the comsat station here. And that should die. And again, that'll be limiting. That's 2 scans that Jess won't have. Which, when Balance does their lurker follow-up that they did game 1, is going to be important. But, you know, comsats are easy to replace, so we probably will see it be remade here in just a few seconds. Supply block. We have a lot of supply depots in production. Don't hide that vision. Starport is finished up in the back here. Science vessels should be on the way shortly. +1 armor. Yeah, +1 armor being started up. Balance has +1 air defense finished. No, that was +1 air attack finished. And yeah, irradiates on the way, lurkers on the way. Balance will probably be looking to try and take this 4th base here fairly soon. A 3rd barracks tried to add it on in the corner there, but again, this is a really nice spot for Balance. Yeah, muta good unit. Is a real good unit. Okay. Good cancel on the barracks there. Again, Balance is just honestly playing out of their mind. Limiting the marine count of the Terran is just huge. Like, it's crazy. 2nd engineering bay being added on for upgrades. Barracks being added on up top here. Okay. Balance still playing clean. Alright, here comes the push. Yeah, I think balance. The idea with the Zerglings was really good. Which is like put pressure on here and force the Marines to come out. It unfortunately happened at the exact moment that the mutas got irradiated. So that was huge, you know. That was such a seesaw in terms of positioning there for Balance's army. Now behind this, Balance has a lot of you know, income left, right? And they're on 3 bases. They're getting their Queen's Nest. They have an easy access to a 4th. So I mean, Balance is still in a good position. God dang, we have Lurkers completely melting through all the bio. But again, we do have Science Vessels this game, and that is the huge difference, is that these will eventually get to kill all these Lurkers for free. Okay, Lurker Leapfrog is occurring. But again, the Science Vessels, especially once they get in range of the missile turrets, the Marines can kind of fight them, and the Science Vessels can start limiting their HP. Well, Marines can kind of fight them. It's a lot cheaper to replace that many Marines than it is to replace that, you know, 3 or 4 Lurkers. I think Balance, unfortunately, might be getting into like a Protoss Monkey Brain A-move mode, sending all these Lurkers across the map. Ooh, I like this dive in the worker line, target down the SCVs. Guess not, but I do like it. It is a fun move. Inching ever forward, we do have the couple Lurkers, not really helping the fight, but they are helping. They are here. They are coming down. And with this burrow, they will be able to get up into this mineral line. A lot of medics just died there. And looks like we're about to have one more irradiate. This base is, looks like it's gonna fall. Huge drop. I think all 8 Marines. Yeah. Nope, 7 Marines and a medic. Also, we do have a siege tank out. We did have a siege tank out. Oh, we still have the siege tank out. Remember, siege tanks outrange Lurkers even without siege mode. So, with the right micro, or with the wrong micro from Balance, Jess is in an okay position. They didn't even lose. They didn't lose a lot of. They didn't lose a lot of Lurkers. So she is. I mean, and then these mutas are just gonna run straight into the Marines. The Scourge are gonna get the Science Vessels, which is huge, but Balance is just trickling in this army, and that's not going to work, right? Like, most of these Lurkers lost the majority of their health as they were running in. These Scourge have nothing to kill. These are AI attack waves coming out of Balance, right? Like, it's like Balance is like, no, the mission says that I send these Lurkers in at 13 minutes, so I'm going to do this. I'm following in my attack pattern. 8 Zerglings and 4 Scourge attack right now. Yeah, so like Balance lost all of their army doing this. And I mean, they can replace it. They do have Defilers on the way, but they are only operating on 3 gases. But at the same time, they lost all that army, all that tempo, that huge position that they had. And Jess is kind of fine. She has a worker lead. She's still on 2 bases, which is fine. There is a hive. We're going up to 4 bases, if this SCV lives. But it's, God, SCVs sometimes just get extremely lucky. Zergling's trying to do a counterattack. They're going to get a Marine. 2 Marines? 3 Marines? 3 Marines. Good job. Good job, Zerglings. Good job getting out of your caves. So, if you're wondering where Balance is supposed to have, like, where's all his stuff is, in the future. He's saving it up for a rainy day, okay? He's being very careful with his money. He's putting all these minerals under his bed mattress, so that when the, you know, when the value of the mineral goes way up, he'll be able to afford so much more. Okay? Okay, there's a Science Vessel that just kind of dies. To Consume just about finished. 4th base underway. I feel like Balance... How many hatcheries does Balance have? 1, 2, 3. Balance has played this entire game on 3 hatcheries. I understand why they haven't been able to spend their money now. That's kind of crazy, actually. I think they just lose here. Siege mode is almost done. There is a science vessel with this army. But we do have Dark Swarm and Lurkers. We do have Dark Swarm. We do have Dark Swarm and Lurkers. So, you know, Zerg be doing it. Just getting their 4th base up. Again, Terran on equal bases with Zerg is basically ahead. So things are looking really rough for Balance. Especially since, like, they really don't have the infrastructure to be spending their money. You know, it could be like, oh, well, Balance really needs to spend their money. They have 5 hatcheries. How are they supposed to do that? Again, just a lot of siege tanks. We do have the science vessel. Ooh. Okay, Dark Cloud, skipping, hopping. This Fire Bat is waiting for his moment to shine. He's gonna dive on this eventually. Oh, the Lurkers are coming. Lurkers are dead. We have... Okay, Consume coming in. Oh, Splash finally killed a Lurker, I guess. Oh gosh, yeah, so he just does not have the... Yeah, that's bad. There's no other Defilers here. Wait, are there? Yeah, there's no other Defilers here. I'm pretty sure that's game. Without Defilers, there's no way Balance holds this. And even if they did have Defilers, it'd be really hard to hold this. What? Nope, never mind. Yeah, this is it. What are the upgrades? I'm glad you asked. The upgrades are 3-2 to 2-0. 2-3 to 2-0. Oh, we do have a Defiler. He's eating drones. Oh, he saved at the last minute. But you really don't want to be eating drones. Ooh, backstab? That's okay. Firebats still work under Dark Swarm, so it's not really going to help. Probably just need to save the Dark Swarm to keep doing on this Lurker. Yeah, I think when it's like... Well, the Lurker got up, but now that the Dark Swarm is here, the Marines just dive in. They kill the Nidus, there's no reinforcements, they just kill the hatchery and run up the ramp. Balanced GG's, and despite an amazing early game, Jess comes back. Despite an amazing early game from Balance, Jess comes back from it and completely, like, I mean, it uses, like, just, it's crazy. It was a crazy match. But that means we're gonna go our third map of this series. We're back to Butter. The community chosen map, an amazing weird 2-player map, horizontally symmetrical. Yeah, because it's cut horizontally. But we also get to judge our players on if they're playing on the right Butter or not. Because in this matchup, it actually does matter, because there's a version of Butter where you can get a perfect wall in with just a single barracks and supply depot in your main that you can't do on the incorrect versions of Butter. Oh, okay, it is the correct version of Butter. They are saved from being judged. This SCV has terrible, terrible plans. Those terrible, terrible plans involve barracks being built in the middle of the map. I don't think there's buildable terrain out here. Also, there's an overlord. Oh, wait, is there? Is this buildable? I don't know if that overlord saw that. Oh. Why would you scout so early? Man. Got my hopes up thinking we were going to have like a proxy barracks at the third base or something. But with this SCV here, with that early SCV, you can throw the engineering bay up here at the natural and really throw off what the Zerg is going to be doing. Dada asking what is happening. We're about to see an engineering bay built here, is what's happening. Whoa, that is some movement on that SCV. Alright. Yeah, supply depot has started. And so, yeah, the drone is just going to go to the third to build it there. And, yeah, this is just going to be a, yeah, no, it was a good build on location. Very delayed third base. And this is the perfect wall. Zerglings can't get through here. Because, Terran just get that, I guess. It's going to be a fast third from balance. No way, what? Oh my god, the SCV also is building on the gas. That's very funny. Unfortunately, gas steel doesn't really work on Zerg because they get their natural so quickly. But it's very funny. So they really want to have started their gas already. But I mean, really, you could just start the gas on your natural. It doesn't delay it so too much. Oh, and the SCV's still alive. That's pretty great. Factory starting extremely early for Jess here. No second barracks, no missile turrets or engineering bay or anything, just skipping straight to factory. I guess if you know that it's not, they aren't going for an extremely fast layer. Well, they can't go for fast layer. You block their gas. Yeah, I mean, we have 3 hatches. Balance has a reduced drone count compared to their opponent. And we're about to have vultures coming out from this factory. And it's going to be a 1-1-1 actually. Just getting very fancy with their builds here. Now there is a sunken colony, and that does mean that the vulture can't really do anything. But when the starport finishes, you can get a wraith and start harassing overlords. Or drop ships and then just drop a bunch of marines in the main here. Balance is just massing on Zerglings, so and they still kind of aren't really catching up to Jess's SCV count. Or they're just about to. Lair has started, just as the starport is finishing, so we're going to see where we're going to take our tech buildings here. What's going on? And it is going to be a wraith. Hell yes. Let's go kill some overlords. Burrow being researched for balance. That's interesting. We do also have a vulture out. He did come out. We have the sunken going up at the third base, so that base is fine. The lair about halfway done as the wraith is about to be leaving the starport, launching into space to start supply blocking some Zergs. And now we're adding on those additional barracks, the science facility. Honestly, it looks like we're just skipping the turret phase. And with the science facility getting up so fast, it kind of makes... Watch this wraith for a second. I'm just going to lay down. There's a covert ops being built with no comsat station in the main, so I'm just gonna lay down and wait for death to take me, and for these nukes to land. Dang, balance is already supply blocked at 27, so like those two overlords aren't really gonna help a whole lot. He has to build a Hydra Den. No, kill the other overlords. Yeah. Make balance play ZVP. Still supply blocked, and if this overlord dies before the other ones spawn, he won't be able to get any Hydras out in time to kill the Wraith, which is very funny. You just leave the game if you're Zerg at this point. This is just silly. You just kill your own drone, suicide some Lings in so you have enough supply to make one Hydra? Yeah, I think that's what you have to do. As your opponent is going one base Boruso. Okay, but this Hydra's gonna spawn and absolutely wreck this Wraith. Who's killed... Oh! Wraith, run! Run, buddy! Run, Mr. Paper Airplane. When we do have some Mutalisks coming, and the Mutas will also kill Wraiths. Now the question is, can 7 Mutas be enough? Where's our Ghost? Where's our Ghost? We have the nuke starting. Where's the Ghost? He's not with the bio. Okay, another Overlord dies. Dude, that is crazy. Imagine using Scourge to kill a Wraith. That is the worst. After that Wraith is killed, 5 Overlords? Oh, the Scourge does connect there. That's really good. But if we have an Irradiate on this Mutapack... Irradiate, Irradiate, Irradiate... Oh, so sick, so sick, so good. Oh, the splits! Such an unfortunate split. That is so much damage on the Mutalisks. That Muta's gonna die. Goodbye. Where's the Ghost? There's our ghosty boy. Do we have Cloak, or are we just going cloakless? Let's see. Let me sit up a little bit from the floor here as we're observing this game. This SCV's still here, by the way. Hasn't moved, hasn't been asked to move. He just exists. No, why not build a barracks here and then like build the ghosts from down here, right? Then they don't have to walk all the way across the map. Now I didn't see if personnel cloaking finished. So this Ghost might just be like a fucking plopped in the middle of this bio. No, don't find the SCV. All right, come on, Ghost, you can do it. God, yes. Come on. Nuke the fucking main. I believe in you. Let's go. Let's go. Listen, if they want a base race, it's fine. You don't need missile turrets. Nuke cloak? There's no cloak. Oh no, that's so bad. Wait, why is the nuke right here? Wait, what? No! No. Oh! Nuke! I don't care what's that considered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drones, a sunken colony. God, that was so close to killing that. A bunch of Hydras, but you trade your entire bio army. Is that worth it? Maybe. I'm pretty sure a Ghost has enough range to actually nuke on the den from back here, though. That's so weird. Also, like, no Ghost upgrades were researched, but we are supply blocking the Zerg again. Wait, did the 2 Overlords die? There were 2 Overlords there, and they died. Dude, balance just is not allowed to have income or not allowed to have supply this game. So are we doubling down on the nuke? Are we gonna see a second nuke built? It's like the thing is, right, every single one of these is gonna have a spore colony now. Because it's gonna be so scared of a Ghost cloaking in and just nuking it. No, it's gonna be 2 more Sunkens. just build the barracks down here and leak the ghosts up. That'd be so good. Okay, no more ghosts being added in. We're going straight back to straight bio. Adding on our engineering base for upgrades. I like the idea. I think the idea is if you can bust both the sunken colonies and keep the bio army alive, you have a really good shot of breaking this and taking the game. But that didn't happen. The nuke killed all the bio. It still feels like Jess is in the lead, but then Jess has been one base playing it for so long that it really is more like it's even, right? Like killing the overlords and getting a nuke off and getting a bunch of mutas and hiders and stuff. Like that's the payment that Jess had to do to make the game even. If they were able to get the expansion, oh no, lurkers. Okay, well that's not so bad. You can lift the command center up. No, don't run the whole army back. You have ghosts. Well, I guess the ghosts aren't with that army, so it's fine. That drone is going to take a 4th base. Oh, and a 4th base is being built right there. So, Balance doing the classic Zerg double expand. The classic double expand maneuver. Does Ghost with upgrade outrange lurker? Crowbarks, you are the first person to ever actually ask that question, I'm sure. Well, actually, no. There's people in AmiTheseus' chat who have asked that question. Because they understand that ghosts are the best unit. Okay, another nuke in production. We need to clear these lurkers, though. Okay, lurkers cleared. Time to take that 2nd base. Here comes the next big wave. A lot of Zerglings, a lot of Scourge, and 1 lurker. No way. There's enough bio here. These Zerglings are going to filter in and get completely shot to death. Scourge are also going to get completely melted. Again, this kind of happened in Game 2, where Balanced was just sending waves of units at their opponent, and it never worked. So all those lurkers are dead. The mutas might clean up. Mutas are a very good unit. And there's a couple Marines sitting back here. Never mind, the mutas are not going to clean up. They are going to get melted as well. Balance, again, just throwing away their army, what they really can't afford to. But they have a 4th base coming up, and that's important. Another wave of Zerglings coming, and the nuke. We still haven't seen personnel cloaking or ocular implants, so I don't know if these ghosts will be able to actually get into a position where they can... Ooh, wonderful backstab there. Plan it out, sees the Marines coming, but there's always more Marines! Tries to do a backstab, but the ghosts... 360 no scope. Hey, real quick for the people in the chat, hot seat trivia. How much damage do ghosts do? Like, what's the ghost damage? Nobody knows. Nobody uses ghost. That's so sad. 10, Fuzzy Branch is saying. 10 damage? You think a well-equipped, a well-trained sniper... It does just increase vision range. A well-trained sniper like a ghost only does 10 damage. Champion saying 15. I can't believe you guys are so down on the ghost. It does 10. Yeah, you're right. They kind of suck. They really suck. There's the ocular implants. Ghost sight range. Oh my god, the D-Matrix. And, dude, actually... Holy shit, because the ghost launching the nuke would have such low priority because it can't attack. You just park the missile turret over it. Oh! 2 more overlords dead. Everything dies? That's game. That's game. You can't build any more lurkers. You have ultraless caverns. I guess you can build ultras, but like... No, you're gonna lose this base. You are supply blocked. Or you were supply blocked. You've been throwing units away all game. Fucking nukes! Hell yeah. I love how the Marines ran in. They were like, get them! Ultralisks, run away! Send the ghosts. Ghosts do 5 damage to ultras. They're elite snipers. Also, don't irradiate the ultras. It buffs them. You don't need to do that. Yeah, so they just Go kill him. Get in the main. Build it. The second nuke is on the way. Go nuke that third base. We have some Zerglings running across the map. I think that's sick. I think that gameplay is sick. Parking the science vessel over the ghost so that the nuke, so that they can't be like target fired. That's amazing. That's such a smart play. Holy shit. God, Ultra's bad. And that's 2-1 for Jess. Yeah. That's kind of great. That was an amazing game to end it on. Yeah, 100%. That is best game of the day at the very least. That is 2-1 for Jess, bringing another point back for GOSU, meaning that they aren't going to lose 4-1. They're just going to lose 3-2. And you know what? That point counts, especially since the weekly matches are determined by total matches won, and not by per group. So, you know what? That point could have been really important. My God, we've been casting for nearly 6 hours now. I am tired. I have other things I'm going to do today. If you're watching this and you aren't following, please drop a follow. That's appreciated. Go follow the Coach-Pupil League Twitch channel. That's also super cool. If you aren't in the CPL, join the CPL at www.cplbw.com. Champion saying, I tell everyone you're the best caster, so next time take it easier on me in Bloodbath. Champion, you can't ask for impossible things. There's a limit to what I'm capable of, and not like trying to go full sweaty tryhard on Bloodbath it's beyond me. Alright, thank you all for watching. I think there's no other cast going on today, so let's go see who is streaming some StarCraft, and if you still want to watch some of the good old 1998 space game, you can go watch them. Let's see, twitch.tv. Who's casting? Who's playing the game? GG's, thank you. Let me go to, I have a screen where the chat can show up on screen. There we go. Raid Basilius. Okay. That sounds good. Where is you know what? Oh, he's offline now. Okay. Where is... Okay, there's StarCraft. Don't forget to stop streaming this time. Love Snow? Oh, hell yeah. Let's raid Love Snow. Fellow CPL gamer. Love Snow 7. Playing Terran, so you know, it's fine. We accept all people in the CPL. Let's make sure that works. Yeah. Again, thanks for watching. Drop a follow if you haven't already followed, but you know what? I just chill, more chill. Bye. Go watch this guy. Yeah.